So, it's official. We got a Cinderfall backstory. So was it good? Well, looks like she got the co-star of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody for an episode, and then, of course, getting abused by her family. Oh, and then killing everyone, including her prince. Right. Yeah, nope, just as expected, they ruined her backstory, to no one's surprise. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, Cinder's backstory was finally revealed, and my god, was it as disappointing as ever, because I don't think anybody was surprised that it was gonna be. You know, I think they love screwing characters over, and they could have done so much for Cinder, but they didn't. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, first it starts off with Cinder in an orphanage, and she was cleaning the floors, as we had saw within the first chapter of the volume, and she gets bullied while she's there, and then she goes from being in this orphanage on a farm, it seems, to then being able to go to a place of luxury, which we don't even know where this farm was, by the way, and then she is in Atlas, and she lives within a hotel. Like I said, she gets her own, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode, and this is new to Cinder because she always lived in that poor life, and then, she lives in a much more rich environment that she's not used to. But does that mean it's all good and well for her? No, of course not, because then she gets the Cinderella story where she has the two wicked stepsisters, of course, which treat her absolutely awful, which, who's surprised? Like I said, Cinderella backstory. You'll see what I mean by this, being uncreative. And then she does all the chores, she does absolutely everything, and with no help from anybody. And if she were to by chance screw up, in which her stepmother was the evil stepmother, of course, well, then she is to be punished. And this is just bad writing on how she gets punished, because, okay, so the evil stepmother, what she does to punish Cinder is pretty bad, because she puts a necklace around her neck that shocks her. Okay? Kind of like a shock collar. Except for, this. And here's the thing about this. While this necklace shocks her every single time, her mother decides to punish her, well, here's my question. Why doesn't she just snap the necklace off? I mean, this is dumb. Because it's a necklace. It's not like it's made of a substance that she couldn't just snap off, which, by the way, later on, she does take it off. Like, she snaps it off of her neck. I'm not even kidding. Dumb for the sake of the plot. That is RWBY for you. That is the writing that RWBY gives people. And she then later steals a weapon, which you could see that this could be the inspiration for her to want to become a huntress. And that could have been something, but that falls flat. So she gets caught because she stole the sword, and there is a huntsman who comes in. Now, this huntsman, here's the thing. This could have been something, but they don't go into this guy at all. I find this to be a problem, which I'll get into in just a moment, but he decides to start training Cinder, so he comes upon multiple visits to come and train her. And here's the thing. The guy himself knows of Cinder's abuse by her mother, like her adopted mother. He knows it's going on, but he does nothing to change this. He's just like, oh yeah, we got a few years before we can, get you out of here. Why can't you take her away now? So what, is there no child protective services? Does that not exist? What? And she's also 10 years old here? Like, she looks like she's 15. How is this a 10-year-old? I just want to ask that question. Also, whatever happened to the academies that they could go to, before they go to, Beacon and, Haven and all the others, like the smaller academies? Whatever happened to those? But years go by, it seems, and the guy continues to come about to train Cinder, which obviously he is like her ray of sunshine. He's like the only positive thing that she realistically had in all of those years, and you can really see it. And this is her motivation to become a huntress, because this is all she really had. And like I said, though, this guy knew that she was going through all this trouble. It just baffles me how stupid this is, because huntsmen and huntresses, see, the hunter characters, think of it is that they have this authority to be able to take away a child if they are being abused. I do not understand why he did not use his authority as a huntsman to be able to do this for Cinder. See, this doesn't make sense. This is being dumb for the sake of the plot, but it's RWBY, so what is there to expect? Of course, he creates a monster and finally realizes this when Cinder starts to go crazy, because while this is not only a uncreative Cinderella story, this is like Cinderella if she was a sociopath. And so we see Cinder then choke her mother to death. Now, here's the thing about this. Cinder chokes her mom to death. What doesn't make any sense to me is that if you look at the difference between her and her mom, look, her small hands can't even fully wrap around her mother's neck. I don't understand how she has the strength to be able to choke her mom to death like this. I mean, there's a reason why she uses weapons to actually kill people. So, if this was somebody else, like maybe, I don't know, Hazel or Tyrion, I get it. I could see them doing this, especially Hazel. I mean, he's a big dude that could just snap their neck with ease. But, like, Cinder, that doesn't make any sense. And Cinder says, oh, well, I don't have to run anymore. When were you running away? This line of dialogue makes no sense. When was she ever running away? She stayed there the whole time. When did she run away? Yeah, please, show me the scene where she ever ran away. She never ran away once. She stayed there for years. She's been there the whole time. How does this line of dialogue work? And then, of course, the huntsman's like, well, now you'll be running for the rest of your life. Like, what? She was never running away. This doesn't make any sense. This line of dialogue is really stupid. And so then, of course, the huntsman finally decides to take his own authority and take her down because of her killing her family. Like, where was this whenever she was being abused by her family and he knew this? Do you see what I mean by stupid for the sake of the plot? But oh, it gets better. This is not the only bit. Because while they fight, it takes three hits for his aura to go down. Yeah, he uses his semblance, which seems to be metal. He's able to, I guess, coat himself in metal. But Cinder uses her semblance to burn him. But 3 hits. 3 hits total. What is aura? Is aura even relevant? Because I don't see it. Like, what the hell is aura at this point in this series? And in the end, Cinder decides to kill him. Yep, he smacks her to the ground. Then she just grabs the blades and stabs him. The very person that was there for her, and then she just decides to stab him. Like, are you kidding me? This entire fight, to me, was nothing more than the Ash Greninja and Charizard X battle whenever Ash was battling Elan. If anybody remembers this in Pokemon. Oh my dear God, was that bad. 3 hits, and then Greninja's just gone. Like, and Greninja landed hits on the Charizard X. It was 3 total hits, and then Greninja still faints in the end. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm still very salty about that fight. But my point is, it was just really bad. This fight was terrible. Not only that, but they tried to pull an Itachi moment where he just reaches out his hand and just touches her head, and then he just falls over and dies. Like, this doesn't work because, one, when you look at it, they don't really take the time to go into his character at all. We don't know anything about him other than he trained Cinder. That's it. 2, we don't know why he decided to take her and train her. We don't get that. See, that's the thing that doesn't make sense here. And it just doesn't add up. Itachi and Sasuke had a relationship. Yes, it was a bond of hatred, but they had a relationship that worked in the end when that happened, when Itachi died. And there was a big reason for this. But when it comes to this huntsman, we don't really know anything. We don't know if he saw her as a daughter figure or what. Oh, and by the way, yeah, then Cinder, of course, rips off the necklace. Yeah, she could have done that the whole time. Like I said, dumb for the sake of the plot. This backstory is so bad. They try to make you feel bad for Cinder, but it doesn't work. Also, we don't get where Cinder learned how to be elegant, like we've seen her be within the first 3 volumes. We don't get this at all. Like, she didn't learn this from this family, because apparently they just treated her as if she was a slave and nothing more than that. So her being all elegant and everything, where did she learn that? See, there's a hole here, a very big hole in this story. Not only this, but when you look at Cinder's speech back in Volume 3, she wanted to expose Ozpin for, leading people to their deaths and actually, keeping the secret of the war between him and Salem. Not only that, but also she wanted to expose the military power of the academies that they were hiding from the people. Where did that come from? because this backstory doesn't go into that at all, which is completely inconsistent. But like I said, it also doesn't really tell you about where her anger towards Ozpin really stemmed, other than, I know what you're doing is bad. So do we just assume that it was Salem that told her? Is that it? Not only that, but another question. How did she meet Salem? The question that has been going on and on and on and on with all these antagonists, how did they come across her? I mean, all we know is that Cinder just, I guess, left and miraculously found Salem. Not only this, but in Cinder's speech, she also questioned which side was really right between Ozpin and Salem. So, back at that time, she questioned whether Salem was right in her ways as well or not. So, where is this? And also, Cinder on the streets, where it doesn't seem like anybody had a problem whenever she went to go and recruit Emerald. And it seemed like Cinder may have been a huntress. Like I said, there are so many holes to this backstory that's just there that this doesn't add up. Not only this, but the whole idea of Cinder being cautious when it comes to Salem and kind of fearing her in Volume 4. I'm sure many people remember that, where it seemed like she could potentially at that time have sympathy or a redemption that could happen in the future, which to me, this doesn't make sense, because in Volume 5, of course, where they ruined every character and continue to just do so going forward and make it worse for each one of them, this doesn't make sense. And the whole power thing doesn't add up for Cinder. Also, I want to bring up how there's a sign, and it says, "We do not serve Faunus." This story would have actually worked significantly better for a character that's a Faunus, because humans we typically see as slaves or mistreated in some way or form. We don't really see this out of Faunus. We see this out of humans, though. They don't seem to have a problem doing this with human characters, but with Faunus, we don't see discrimination. This could have been a good backstory for Adam and why he would have joined the White Fang. I could have believed that a lot more, but still, this doesn't work. It's really bad, and it's uncreative. This backstory is because, like I said, it's just your typical Cinderella if she was just a sociopath as a guest star on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. That's basically all this is. It was a shit show. I mean, if you had Adam be a slave to humans in Atlas, okay, I could get that. And then that could have been an interesting backstory for Adam, and it could have really made more sense for a character like him. And Cinder's not a Faunus, so yeah, it's more like humans just get the worst end of the stick. I mean, it gets worse from here, though, because if you compare this story to Mercury's backstory, Mercury had it worse. You see, where Cinder, in a sense, she went up. She went from having, living on a, I guess, poor orphanage, at least that's what it seemed like, to being at a wealthy home. Mercury is a character that his father hated him from the start. Not only that, his father took his legs away from him. I mean, the guy amputated his son's legs. Like, that's pretty dark, okay? And while that may have happened to him and Mercury in the end killed his own father, this makes more sense because Mercury lost out. He didn't gain. He lost. He lost things. So, yeah, Cinder's backstory, it doesn't really work. Then you have the whole Oscar and Hazel scene because, let's be real, Hazel, he's a good dude. He's one of the characters I actually do like. And Hazel continues to go on about why he actually joined Salem. Now, his reason, of course, for this is because he saw how she was unbeatable. And that's the funny thing. He says that she's unbeatable, right? Yeah, good luck with that because she lost in Volume 5. Her forces lost, and Hazel was a part of that group. So there was that. And it's funny because he talks about how Ozpin himself was the one who led people to their deaths by making them be hunters and then fighting for a pointless war. Yeah, well, Salem is basically leading people to their deaths and fighting a pointless war at the same time. So they're on the same level, and Salem just sits there and just lets everybody be pawns in her game, just like Ozpin does. So it's a game of chess between these two characters, and they're doing the exact same thing when you think about it. So, yeah, like, either side you look at, they're doing the same thing. And so there's that. But when you look at it, both sides are essentially doing the same thing. I mean, that's really what it seems like it is. So everybody then goes to Salem, and you have Mercury, and he got promoted. And I just want to say this. I do worry for Mercury's future. And yes, I have seen Chapter 7, so I do know what they've done. But I do still worry for Mercury. It makes me feel like they're going to make him do something that could make him be irredeemable, and then they'll kill him off. And I like Mercury, but, they've really made a lot of the stuff with him just pointless in this volume. And here's where things get worse, okay? Because, aside from Mercury, talking about Cinder for a minute, because with Cinder, okay, you know how she went and fought in the last chapter, okay, in chapter 5. Her and her group went and fought. Well, here's the thing. There's nothing from it. The only punishment she gets is basically like the shock, except for with the grim arm. That's the only punishment she realistically gets from this entire situation. So her getting injured and whatnot, because she wakes up just fine, yeah, whatever. And then her getting basically shocked, in a sense, or tortured with the arm, yeah, that doesn't matter, because Salem's just like, oh, yeah, you failed on your last mission. All right, well, that means promotion. What? How does that work? Like, how do you promote a character that has just failed you again? See, that doesn't make any sense to me. And it just acts like, oh, this is fine. And I just think this is dumb. It's like Cinder herself just fails up the stairs, which doesn't work. And it's absolutely frustrating, because you would think it'd be otherwise. But no. She just fails up the stairs, continues to do just fine whenever she loses out. It doesn't make any sense. And here's the thing that I think is probably going to happen. Cinder is probably going to betray Salem. That is what the likely circumstance is here, because, it just seems like they're going to go that route, as well as the torture, with her arm and everything. I just feel like they're going to have Cinder betray Salem. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. They might do a redemption for her, but it would be strange. I don't know. It's the writers of the show are just bad. They are so bad. Oh, it's awful. And then you have the Aesop's, and they're flying around. And then you have Team Yabby Smash, because, they're so significant to the plot. Yeah, right. But you have them, you have banter between them and the Aesop's and Winter that's going on here. And, it's funny, because what I like here is how you have Jean, who's trying to act like, oh, yeah, we're the good guys, we're doing great things. Yeah, and then that gets shot down real fast, and I love that, because I'll give Harriet credit. I don't care for Harriet, but I'll give her credit on how it was their fault. Good. At least you're calling out RWBY and her group, because it is their fault. Thing of it is that RWBY's group has caused mass panic around the world, trying to let everyone know about the evil Grim Lady who's coming around, sitting on her throne, having other people do her work for her, and failing every single time, and is now trying to attack Atlas with her giant whale. Yeah. I mean, seriously. She's created a mass panic. They thought that was a good idea. Oh God, see, this is why they try to keep secrets from people sometimes, so they don't go into mass panic. And then, of course, the Grim Pool attacks Atlas. Everybody watches in horror as the fodder goes up there to actually attack the generators. Like, here's the other problem: the generators, yet again, they're on the outside. Why are your shield generators on the outside where they can get destroyed? Whoever created these and thought that putting them on the outside where they're going to be destroyed by the enemies should be fired. This is the worst defense system I've ever seen if you think putting the shield generators on the outside was a good idea. Of course they were going to get destroyed. Like I said, whoever created that idea would just get fired. Like, that was, oh man, they would be ejected. Like, that would be an eject button right there. And the Grim Whale goes and just parks and just lets out a pool of Grim. Just goes and parks on it. I'm serious. You have a Grim Whale. You know what they could do with this? They could take this whale and ram it into the city. Just go full force ram it. But no, instead, no, let's just park it on the side. Yeah, it's cool. Park it on the side. Yeah, look at my Grim Whale I flew in. Like, what is this? Why just let it crash on the side? Besides, why even wait this long to actually attack Atlas when they could have done it the whole time? Like, Salem's an idiot. You want to talk about being a dumb character? Salem is just dumb. Ram it into the city. Like, not that hard. Ram it into the academy. Wouldn't have been that difficult. Overall, this chapter is just bad. I mean, yet again, we continue to see just more just uncreativity. Like, just uncreative ideas. The Cinder backstory is nothing more than just a Cinderella knockoff if Cinderella was a sociopath. That's all it is. It's like Cinder herself. They don't try to make her a sympathetic villain. You could say, oh, well, she got tortured and she needed to get revenge. No, she didn't have to get revenge. In fact, she didn't even have to get tortured. She could have took off the necklace the whole time, and the huntsman himself, he could have just taken Cinder away and had dealt with the family themselves. I'm not saying killed it, but I'm saying like he could have had them get arrested for how they treated this young girl, and then in the end, she becomes a sociopath and just slaughters them all. I mean, seriously, why? Why? And it just doesn't add up for Cinder's character as a whole because it doesn't tell you a lot of other things about her, and it just still leaves holes here. There are just so many things that does not make sense for her character going forward. How did she become all elegant the way she did? Because she didn't learn that when she was with that family. Also, not only that, but her whole issue with Ozpin, trying to expose him for the guy that he was, using all the hunters and huntresses that he had trained as pawns for his war. What about exposing that? What about, the academies and exposing the military power they were actually hiding? What about that? Where did all that come from? Her questioning whether Ozpin or Salem was truly right. Yet again, where did that come from? How did she meet Salem? Where did that come from? Like, how did she meet her? There's so many questions here that are not even answered. I mean, then again, you could ask that about all the other villains. How did they meet Salem as well? We still don't even know that. But, this backstory could have worked a lot better for Adam because, if it had been about Faunus, if it had been, Adam as the slave, and he was treated bad by this family because he was a Faunus, this could have worked a lot better. I mean, of course, the story would still need some tweaks to make it more suitable for Adam's character, but yeah, it could have made a lot more sense for a Faunus character like Adam, for example. And with Cinder, like I said, it's just Cinderella if she was a sociopath. It's really bad. It leaves holes, and, this is what I'm saying. Just disrespect for the characters, and it has been going on for years, and it will continue to happen because the writers don't care for the characters they write for, especially the villains. They are so afraid of creating backstories. You can really tell why. This backstory should have at least lasted for 2 to 3 episodes to explain Cinder and her character, to explain even the huntsman that trained her. That would have been good to see that as well. But they don't do this. A backstory can't just be done within 1 episode. It at least needs 2 to 3. At least. But there's not even that. I mean, Cinder her backstory is rushed. And there's no creativity to it at all. It's just terrible. And the whole thing with Mercury, I have a bad feeling that they might be trying to set him up for death. I don't like that because it just makes me feel like they're going to make him irredeemable because he's now split off from Cinder and her group. So I worry about that. And of course, you have the way that they attacked Atlas. Like, why would you have a shield generator with the columns that produce the barrier on the outside of the barrier? Why would you do that? Like, it's terrible. Like, Alice's defenses are trash. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, these writers are just so terrible at what they do. And yet again, just Cinder gets the end of the stick as well as all the other characters in some way or form. This backstory is just terrible. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire chapter down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. And make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you're still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.